I'm joined by two of the greatest heptathletes of all time. Between the three of us, like we've scored so many points, like in a heptathlon. I mean, I haven't contributed anything, but Jackie Joyner-Kersee, Anna Hall, thanks so much for sitting down with me. Anna, I can't imagine how tired you are. We're less than 24 hours removed from your silver medal. How are we feeling?
I feel like I've been hit by several trains. Yeah, really tired, a lot of emotions, but yeah, just happy, yeah.
You took that 800 out so aggressively, and then you've described it as like the hardest 800 that you've run. Then afterwards, you collapsed onto the track and like stayed there for I think like the longest we've ever seen you like after a race. When you're on the ground, like what are there's so many feelings that you're proud and emotions that are going through your head, but can you take us into like what was that internal monologue until you got back on your feet?
Yeah, the first thing was just trying to get over the lactic. And so I was just lying there like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe, I can't feel my legs, my butt is all locked up, like all the normal 800 feels. And then as that slowly started to fade, I was just lying there looking up at the screen with the scores, and kind of just, I took a moment, I think, just to process, that, okay, like I didn't do it. And I shed I think I shed like 3 tears on the track. I was just like, ugh, like it just wasn't enough. And then I was like, okay, silver, and like I'm gonna pick myself up and not take the moment or the medal for granted, because you never know what happens. Like everything could be taken away tomorrow. So yeah, that's about what I went through.
Jackie, where were you kind of in the stands? Because I saw you on day one. I mean, there was a little like the American fans in the stands had this moment of just like, oh my God, is Anna okay in the high jump? And then like I caught the moment where you looked at her and gave her the thumbs up and said, we're good. And so for you yesterday, day two, how are you processing just kind of everything?
I know how difficult it is, one, to get through the first day and then come back, and I know she was disappointed with the long jump, but under the circumstances, to just be able to go out there and compete, knowing what she was dealing with, didn't use it as an excuse, but still found a way to get the job done. And even though, she might have wanted to go, but the heart and soul of everyone to show that competitive spirit. And that's what I love about her, is that she's going to compete. I'm going to give you my all, and where we finish is where we finish. There's not going to be backing off, backing away. And we're at close to the finish line, but up high. And every step, when I saw her come through in 58, I was like, good God almighty. But she was going for it. And you can't ask for anything more. And I know it was tough, but to give it your all like that, and still, it's a real special moment for her as well as for Kat, because they competed, and that's what the multi-events are all about, because you love when it comes down to the last event. And they just competed, and in the end, but she's the best that I believe that we are ever going to see.
I love that. That's high praise, Anna. I mean, like, how does that feel just to hear that?
That's crazy. Part of me, I'm just like, no, I'm not. But yeah, it's just incredible, I guess, to hear you say those things about me. And yeah, I think the most like humbling thing about this entire year is just a lot of the comments I get from you or other people have been more just about like the way I compete and not necessarily like the marks that I produce. And that's been really special, because even meets like this where I honestly felt like I was like, okay, I'm not really my full self. I'm not at 100%. I don't feel like I'm as happy, and it doesn't feel as fun, but it's like, I guess my spirit is kind of still showing through even in those situations. So that part's just really special to me, yeah.
I want to explore the two of you as like friends, because it seems to be like kind of a quickly evolving friendship that has formed, the two of you walking in together into Hayward Field and like doing press events like this. But Anna, I guess like what was the first interaction you had with Jackie? And it's like, I'm sure at this point you might be texting each other, and like how has that kind of developed? And being a fan of the sport, it had to have been a pinch me moment at the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. The first time I met her was actually we were getting ready for the NCAA meet, and she was there getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I was like practicing high jump, and we like spotted her up ahead. I was like, that's Joyner-Kersee, and I was like, oh my goodness, and that was like enough for me. I was like, oh, I can't believe I like saw her, and Walter was like, you have to like go up and say hello, and so I went up and like took a picture with her, and that was incredible. And then just the way that she got behind me in Oregon again for Worlds that year was awesome. And then just to keep, I guess, kind of developing our relationship over the course of seeing her again at the Adidas meet, and she'll text me before meets or a few weeks out from Worlds, just to have her encouragement and know that, you know, she's walked in my shoes before, is awesome. And I told her this morning, I like thought about her during the long jump, because I'm like, she won like multiple Olympic medals like on an injured leg. Like I was like, jumped like 740 on an injured leg. I was like, I can put my foot down. Like, come on. So yeah, it's just awesome to have like your inspiration so close.
Jackie, how quick can you spot talent? I mean, over the course of the last couple decades, you know, there's so many women who have come through in the heptathlon, and there have been some greats, but like for you to, when you watch Anna, what do you see?
You know, what I see in Anna is, one, the competitive spirit. More than that, she loves it. You just see the pure joy. Even through agony and going through the ups and downs, she still find a way to, one, lift herself up, but then also get the crowd behind her. And to me, that's very special, because I feel that the talent alone would take care of itself. It's what we do with that talent. And so when I see Anna, she's out there competing, and then even through her struggles, she's still smiling, and we know it's tough. But I love that about her, and I had been hearing about Anna Hall, but I had never met her until I saw her at the NC2As, and I didn't know that was her, and I was so glad, you know, to meet her. And then I'm sitting there at NC2As and watching, you know, and like, this girl did the 800, she's gonna go do the 400 hurdle. I was like, that's my kind of girl, you know. And but to be able to see that, and it, you know, so I love being in this position where I feel that her family, as well as her coaches and everyone, have embraced me, because I'm very respectful, and I don't ever want to overstep, you know, but I always want to give that encouragement, because for me, that's what I wanted for people to do for me, you know, because sometimes as an athlete and your coaches, and even with my husband coaching me, my husband will always talk about, Jackie, I've never done this. So when he's working with his other athletes, I might call him and, you know, just let them know that I'm thinking about them. And I love seeing the talent of someone like Anna to stick into the multi-event. Don't go do that 4 and 8. On 400 hurdles. You know, it's, you know, and to have the speed, the strength, the endurance, and the mindset, you know, to start off the day with the speed, but then also have the speed and endurance to run the 8. Yeah, I mean, I could see her training for the individual 8, but stay in the multi for now.
Yeah. Can you break down for me, I guess, just kind of like how there's the physical aspect of it, of being sharp for all these events, but then the mental side of things, like how much preparation does that take? And then having to line all of these different things on one given day, that's the hardest part.
Yeah, that's the master plan, you know, with your coaches and everyone you put together. You know, you map out from the beginning, these are things that you want to do. Then sometimes you have to adapt and you have to change. And for me, it was more, we would work on what we consider my weaker events, because that's where I was going to be vulnerable. So high jump wasn't something that I liked working on, but I knew that event was key. And that set me up for the rest of the meet to be able to, my goal was always be over 187. If I get over 187, then, you know, 192 and all the other marks would come. But we had to work on that so I could be mentally ready. And then I didn't like the 800, but we were trained to make sure I was in 210 shape. So if I'm pushed, then I know I could go a little faster. But going to that line with the confidence versus not training for the 8, trying to put everything on the long jump. Long jump was like a secure event for me. But early on in my career, I put so much pressure because I was a great long jumper that, I have to jump well, that's the event that would do me in. So all the mental preparation and the physical part is just us. When I was telling to Anna, get our own way sometimes, because sometimes we want to push, and like, no, I got to do this, and I know because that's how I was. And my husband like, Jackie, go sit over there somewhere, and I get upset. Now we got to go in the same household, but so the preparation is a part of it, and you take different meets, and you work on different things. She has the ability, she runs 400 hurdles, which allow her to train hurdles and get endurance and conditioning work in. So that's pretty amazing.
Are there those days in practice where it's sort of like when you are pushing the boundaries of trying to be among the greatest of all time? There's like, in practice, it's like, all right, I'm going to try and do one more rep or go a little bit faster, or in the weight room, like add a little bit more weight, and you're just always, like there's a little bit of trepidation. It's like, what if this is the thing that hurts me or anything like that? Are there kind of like those days where you're really towing the line, and how are those feelings of just being that cautious?
Yeah, I think a lot of who watches that is the coaching, and because I will always, I'll do anything that they ask me to do, and if they asked me to do some insane workout I'd be injured by the end of it, I would do it. And I am always asking to do more, and even coming into this break, my coach was like, no, you're actually off for 4 weeks, don't run. And I'm like, okay. Yes. And I don't like sitting still. I like to feel like I'm getting better every single day, and so I'm always trying to do more, but this year we've definitely felt like we towed the line a little bit more. I think there was a few weeks after indoor season, we were in really, really hard training, and that's what I've learned is to train to score like this, you're gonna feel bad all the time. And so trying to train high jump when you feel bad all the time, it's just not fun. And so I just you can't make bars in practice, but you're just working on little things. And so I was getting really upset. I'm like, okay, it's been 3 weeks now since I've had a practice where I feel like I've technically done something well. And they were like, well, you're flat, because we're training hard. And I even got blood work done. I was like, is my iron low? What's going on? And they were like, your cortisol's through the roof. What are you stressed about? And I was like, well, cut season's in 4 weeks and I haven't done well in anything. This is gonna be terrible. And then we tapered and I was amazing. And so, yeah, it's a little bit of a learning curve and kind of weird to toe that line and honestly get that feedback of oh, that's how much stress my body was really under in that training cycle. So now I'm kind of starting to learn I do need rest days, and tapers work, and to perform really well, we do have to toe that line of grinding into the ground sometimes, and then you got to come back up. So yeah,
those are the days where you are Miss 9 to 5. Famously your nickname.
Yes.
Jackie, was that you back in the day, Miss 9 to 5?
Yes.
How much, and how often are you clocking overtime?
For me, sometimes it was all the time. Yeah. But you learn, and Anna is young and doing a lot of great things, and she's going to evolve, and through those experiences, then you realize, because the hardest thing is trusting. And as an athlete, I did this and I need to do this. And even though your coaches and everyone said it's good, it's okay, but in the back of your mind, so going through and experiencing different things makes you a much better, I think, athlete, and as well as it tests your character, but what it does is build the strength around you and your coaches and understanding. And so, yeah, I would go out really early in the morning. It's just my training would be designed just like I'm competing. So I knew that I would have to be on the track, at 7 o'clock in the morning, be ready to get out the starting blocks just to work on the first 3 hurdles or 5 hurdles, by 9 o'clock, ready to go. So I could start programming my mind and then coming back in the evening, because sometimes we just go, and then you go to a competition. They got all these breaks, so I had to learn what to do in between the breaks, because I'm like, what do you mean we got 2 hours? So I had to learn what I could eat, rest, because resting was very hard for me. I didn't want to rest at all. I'm like, and we had a championship, and they like, let's go. You got to go in this room and kick your legs up. So it's all a part of the process.
Anna, one thing I really like about you is just like you post your workouts publicly on your Instagram stories from time to time. I'm always like holding it down and like looking at it like this stuff is crazy. And then in addition to that, like you publicize your goals, like posted the vision board like at the beginning of the year. On it, like it was written like 7,000 points like multiple times.
Yeah.
So what does it do for you, I guess, to like put that down on paper and be able to look at that like every single day?
I think it just makes it more real, and I heard somewhere that writing it down makes it you more likely to achieve it, and I was like, all right, any little 1%. But I think the habit has just like really helped me, and I think it helps me stay centered and makes it feel more like doable. It's almost like a to-do list,
Yes.
a hard one, but a to-do list. And I really tried to like push myself this year. In my like rookie season, I was like, I'm gonna try to be a little bit more transparent. And obviously I can't post my entire training model. My coaches would kill me. But like little tidbits here and there. And the feedback I've gotten from it from different people saying like, oh, I'm gonna try that, or oh, like so inspired by how like this da 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 da. And like I was like, I'll post my results when I do good. I'm gonna post them when I do bad. And I think it's just a cool way, I think, to bring more people along the journey with me and hopefully bring more interest to the combined events.
Jackie, were you similar in the sense of just like writing the goals down, and I mean, or did 7,000 points come just naturally, or like when we kind of think about just like barriers, like people can sometimes get caught up, it's like obsessing over numbers, but for you, like how did it happen?
It didn't come naturally. It didn't come easy.
She nodded her head saying, I think she made it look easy.
No, I'm just kidding. She
And
worked.
back in my day, so we had posters,
Yeah.
And I believe in writing down my goals, and I would write them down, and what it did, it helped me to understand what I needed to do to go over 7,000 points. And so I would figure out what I could do in the first day and what was possible on the second day. And I think that I love what Anna is doing, because as an athlete, we don't work from what could go wrong. We're always looking at what's going right. So our goals are based off of what we believe in our heart that we can do. Do I believe Anna should have been over 7,000 points? But the physical part of that is it plays a major role, because when you write them goals, and that it's a constant reminder, and you're looking at them and you're seeing, this number is off this number. I remember I ran in Stockholm I was ready to go under 13 seconds. But then I got in the fastest race with all the hurdles, and then I ran 13:30, and I went back to the room and tried to change my mark. And my husband said, Jackie, you just didn't run your race. Don't change it. Then I go to the next meet, I run 12:89. So I think it's very important, because it is a reality check, and it helps to remind you what can be. And I think, your goals are realistic, and in the help, you can have 7,000, but you can get on a roll and it would just go. Because for me, it was just going over 7,000, but I just happened to have a great high jump, in which that and long jump came together, and it made it good for me,
So Anna, when you have observed all these grades, like you're reading, Jessica Ennis Hill's book, Grown Up, what are you taking away from like learning about each one of these all-time greats in their careers?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I have taken away is just how like neutral they're able to stay, and I think me being such like an emotional competitor is something that helps me some ways, but also hurts me, and because that's how I train too, and I don't think it's as efficient to have these like big swings sometimes where it's like, oh, that was an amazing practice, or oh, this is horrible, and I have a habit of like thinking of myself as my last practice, my last performance, and so if my last practice wasn't good, I'm like, I'm out of shape, like da 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 da. And I know it's not true, but like I believe that. And so I think reading Jessica's book and like watching the way people compete, just learning how even keeled they are, and maybe high jump doesn't go your way, or it really does, and they're still just like, yep, okay, on to the next one. And so I think that's something that I'm really trying to learn, and I tried to even put to use a little bit out there this weekend.
Before we get to some rapid fire fun questions, I do have, go for it.
You know, and we all are like that. Don't think it's just you.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you, I'm an asthmatic. And so at times I could get out there, I could run. And so one day I was really having an asthmatic problem. And I was like, oh, I'm out of shape. So it's a part of, and as you continue to do this, and it might look like we even killed, no. I couldn't when I didn't run the hurdles well, I'm like, I don't want to go over in high jump. But you have to learn to let it go. So we all go through that. And that's, so you just keep being who you are. And that spirit and everything, the competitive spirit, just keep you on the right path, and don't let anyone change that, because that determination and passion that you have is what makes you very special and unique, so I just wanted to add that, because when you said it took me back.
To living in that constant excitement.
Yeah. He was like, you just ran this yesterday. How could you be out of shape? But in your mind, it's like, well, I can't do this today.
Before every heptathlon in the 800, I'm always like, oh my gosh, everyone's expecting me to run under 2:05, and I'm like, when we taper, I haven't done an 800 workout in 10 days. So I'm like, I don't know what I can run, and then every time it ends up okay, but each time I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So
the base is there.
Yeah.
Before we do the rapid fire questions for social media, unrelated kind of question to everything, but both of you supported by Adidas. I have to ask for heptathletes, laundry. Must be crazy because you guys do so much in practice. Take me through your laundry day. I mean, when you're those down periods of recovery, half of it is laundry time probably.
Yeah, I mean, the only day I don't train is Sunday. So thankfully, Adidas has sent me enough clothes because I change outfits 3 times a day. So it's the morning session. Sometimes I put on something else to go to lunch, and then I go back out and train it again, and then I'll change to go into the weight room to try to offset the track smell. Probably I spend half the day just disgusting, and then you get home and you shower and you put on more athletic clothes. So the laundry bin gets very full, but I just kind of try to knock it out Saturday night, Sunday. Yep.
It's what Anna Hall smells like track. That's it, right?
Yeah, I know. Everyone always makes fun of me because I always walk. I'm like, I'm sorry if I smell bad. And they're like, stop it. And I'm just like.
Right. Smells like a winner.
I like that one better. Yeah. All right. Favorite event of the heptathlon?
Long jump.
800.
Least favorite?
800.
Javelin.
Most difficult event in all of track and field?
In all of track and field?
Yeah.
Well, I think they have heptathlon.
Okay. Yeah?
Yeah.
Aside from the multis, the single events.
The one you heard us would be for me. Oh, and triple jump.
This might be controversial. I think the 800 is harder than the 400 hurdles.
Oh.
Okay. That is a big debate between people.
Because it's a sprint. Yeah.
Physically, yeah.
How many hours of sleep did you get regularly while training?
Oh, I get in about 7.5 to 8.
7 to 9.
All right. Socks with spikes? Yes or no?
Fox?
Do you wear your socks with spikes?
Yes.
Do you use them all
Yes. I used to not in some events, but now I do. Yeah.
You're about to go into the call room, and you've got time for one more song in your headphones. What is it?
Oh. See, I never did.
That's right. The iPod wasn't around yet.
And then back then, they were taking your headphones if you had them. So, anything that's uplifting and reminding me that I could do it,
I think for this week, for me, it was Ice Spice. I was just shuffling the new album. I think it was the Butterfly one on this new album. Yep.
I saw you jamming out. The stadium DJ was really good during the high jump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that always helps.
Yeah. Track and field's a global sport. If you could speak one more language, what would it be?
Well, my Spanish teacher would want me to do Spanish. So when I went to Barcelona, there was no Spanish speaking. Oh, probably German or French.
I was gonna say German. Yeah.
You haven't tried French yet? It's sort of like there's those athletes who are just sort of like, all right, I've got to prep for Paris, learn a couple French words.
Yeah, no. I don't know if I've got time, and I just don't. I don't believe in myself to learn it. I'm gonna be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm with her on that because it's hard enough.
Yeah.
Learn it, and then you know, some people think it's. I mean, it's great if you can learn another language, but I don't want to be disrespectful and not being able to pronounce certain things
True.
correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just like I don't know, and I'm sorry that I don't know. I'm not gonna try to.
Right.
We know the two of you are great at track. What's something you're not good at?
Oh, I can't dance.
Okay.
Oh, same. Yeah. Even though I do it often, which is hilarious, but yeah.
Favorite inspirational quote?
Oh, I can do all things through Christ which strengthen me. That's my verse. But then my famous quote is, I have a lot of them. So one would be, I don't know who the author of this one is, that you share will multiply, that you hold back on will diminish.
All right.
I think my favorite verse is, I read on my spikes is like, God is within her, she will not fail. And quote is, feel the fear and do it anyway. I
All
tell
right.
myself that a lot. Yeah.
Favorite post-multi meal to celebrate? It's like after it's done, what are you having?
See, I'm because I have food allergies, so I have to be careful. You know, so salad, steak, girl.
All right.
I love seafood, but it doesn't like me.
I actually normally, like, I didn't eat last night because I feel like I'm gonna throw up still because I'm so like from the adrenaline. But I had a bag of Nerd Clusters, so if that counts, that. Yeah.
Well, Anna and Jackie, I appreciate you guys taking the time to do this, and I'm just like really excited, you know, for just what the future of the heptathlon holds. Like we're in for, you know, you described that, you know, Worlds is going to be a war. I think we got a really good battle with some of the other
different
top
one.
stars coming back. I think Paris for sure is going to be war, and I think you're going to be ready.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks
do
so
my
much.
best.
Thank you.